Hello guys, it's the Unclear 999. Today's video is about believing in yourself. They said you were crazy, not in an aggressive way, but in that passive tone that belittles ambition, like your vision was too far-fetched for the smallness of their world. It didn't fit into their mold, and that made them uneasy. Every time you spoke of dreams, they rolled their eyes, not because your dreams were wrong, but because they could never imagine aiming that high themselves. You were the outlier, the misfit in their story, where everything followed rules, routines, and realism. But you were writing your own script. While others chased validation, you chased growth. You refused to accept that life was just about surviving. You wanted more. You wanted to live, to evolve, to inspire. And they couldn't handle that. They couldn't understand why someone like you, quiet, different, often overlooked, could possibly believe they were meant for something greater. So they doubted you. They said you weren't good enough. They pointed out your flaws, your failures, and your fears like they were permanent stains instead of stepping stones. They judged your silence as weakness, your mistakes as final, and your confidence as delusion. But while they judged, you learned. You absorbed the pain, the rejection, the loneliness, and turned it into power, because deep inside, there was a voice, quiet but firm, that kept whispering, "You are enough." It was the voice of your future self, reminding you that you were born to do something rare. You knew that being different wasn't a curse, it was a gift. It meant you weren't here to blend in, you were here to stand out. They didn't believe in you. They didn't see what you saw when you closed your eyes and dreamed. They didn't feel the fire that burned in your gut at night while you stayed up, working quietly, training, building, and growing. They didn't see the nights you cried out of frustration, the mornings you woke up with doubts clawing at your chest. But you showed up anyway. You kept pushing forward, because even when the world went silent or loud with criticism, your purpose never left your side. You held on to it like a lifeline. You whispered your dreams back to yourself every time someone tried to crush them. And slowly, brick by brick, you started to build something they said was impossible. You weren't loud. You didn't need to be. Your silence was power. Your consistency was strength. While they made noise, you made progress. While they gossiped, you got better. You weren't trying to prove them wrong. You were proving yourself right. You stopped waiting for people to understand you. You stopped needing their applause, because real growth happens in solitude, not on stages. You let your journey humble you. You let your failures shape you. And over time, the person you used to be became a stranger compared to the one you were becoming. Every time you felt underestimated, it planted another seed of determination inside you. You weren't angry, you were focused. You didn't seek revenge, you chased results. They said you were nothing special. They said you wouldn't make it. But now, they're watching. They're noticing the changes. They're starting to ask questions. And soon, they'll say, "They always believed in you," but you'll know the truth. You'll remember who ignored you, who mocked you, and who stood by your side. You'll remember how hard it was to keep going when no one was clapping for you. And that memory will become your fuel, because the ones who build something out of nothing, who rise from the shadows, they don't owe explanations. They owe themselves the life they promised. You kept going because your vision mattered. You believed even when it hurt. You stayed true to yourself when everyone else tried to shape you into something smaller, something safer, something less. And that's what makes you unstoppable. There's a season in life that no one talks about enough. It's the season where you're putting in the work day after day, and nobody notices. No praise, no spotlight, just you, your dream, and a silence so loud it could crush a weaker soul. The season tests your heart. It makes you question whether you're doing the right thing, whether the struggle is worth it, whether you're just another person chasing the impossible. You see others getting recognized for things you've worked twice as hard on. You see people with half your effort receive double the support, and the bitterness creeps in, telling you to quit, telling you that maybe they were right, maybe you're just not cut out for this. But you don't quit. You fight that voice every single morning. You pull yourself out of bed when your body aches and your mind feels like a battlefield, because deep down, there's something inside who's something unshakable. It's not just hope. It's not just ambition. It's conviction. The kind of belief that isn't loud or flashy, but steady and relentless. The kind of belief that says, I don't need anyone else to see it. I see it. And that belief carries you through the worst of days. You stop chasing validation and start chasing improvement. You stop asking for permission to be great and start creating your own definition of greatness. You begin to realize that some people will never understand your journey because your path was never meant to be walked by them. It was designed for your feet, your fire, your scars. You understand that being underestimated isn't a weakness, it's a weapon, because while they sleep on you, you sharpen your edge. You master your craft in silence, so when your moment comes, you're not lucky or ready. You learn that the most powerful transformations don't happen when people are watching. They happen in the dark. In the gym when no one sees, on the laptop at 2 a.m. when everyone else is partying, in the countless rejections you face without anyone knowing how close you were to giving up. And those moments, they're sacred. They're the reasons you're becoming unstoppable. People only see the result, never the result. They see the crown, not the crawl. But you remember every minute of the climb. You remember when your own family doubted you, when your friends grew distant because you stopped playing small, when people rolled their eyes every time you talked about your goals. You remember being laughed at, ghosted, rejected, ignored, and still showing up anyway, because you weren't doing it for them. You were doing it for the future version of you who would thank you for never folding. The version of you standing on stages, leading teams, raising a family, running empires, whatever you dreamed of. You were fighting for them, for the person you knew you could become if you just didn't give up. And then something changes, not in the world, but in you. It's not a sudden victory. It's not applause. It's not the dream magically landing in your lap. No, it's much quieter than that. It's the moment you stop needing external validation. It's the moment you realize you no longer need to convince anyone, not your family, not your friends, not the doubters who scoffed at your ideas, because you've already convinced the most important person. You become different, unshakable, where others need cheering squads. You carry your own fuel, where others collapse under criticism. You absorb it like steel absorbs, heat transforming, hardening, becoming something no insult can melt. You no longer get emotional when people walk away. You no longer explain your value. You've learned that if they couldn't see your worth before the glow up, they don't deserve a seat after it. And make no mistake, your time is coming. Not because the world owed you, but because you stayed in the game when everyone else folded, because you pushed through heartbreak, betrayal, and failure without allowing any of it to poison your purpose. You didn't let what they said define who you are. You stopped trying to meet expectations built by people who never took the risks you did. You stopped chasing comfort and embraced the fire instead. You became the fire. People start to notice, slowly, quietly, the same ones who said, "You'll never make it," start whispering, "How did you do it?" But you don't brag. You don't rub it in. You just keep working. Because real confidence doesn't need a spotlight. Real growth doesn't scream it, just shows up every day. Consistent, focused, unapologetic. You're not here to be liked. You're here to become legendary in your own lane. And legendary isn't loud. It's discipline. It's built in silence, forged in solitude, and proven by action. You learned that being different was never your weakness, it was your superpower. You realized that the more they misunderstood you, the more you were exactly where you needed to be.